I want you to think about it this way. You've got to have marketing, right? You've got to have conversations, and you've got to have contracts that are closed. That's the funnel of your business. So if you look in all of those departments, that will give you enough information to know where you need to go next. So I looked at some of my data and I was like, you know what? I had a lot of phone calls with one-on-one clients. Welcome to the Speaker's Room Live. I'm Yvonne Benton, the Speaking for Profit coach. And today we're going to be talking about how to earn more in Q2. And I want to shout out everyone that is here from the Speaking for Profit Circle. If you're in the Speaking for Profit Circle, just feel free to go on and put a yellow circle into the comments, or you could just put the word circle in there. I'm excited to have this conversation with y'all. And this is really about how we can prepare and how we can plan for the next quarter of the year. And I'm doing this as a part of my own accountability, y'all, because I also understand that it's so important to be aligned with your business. And we make all of these amazing affirmations and resolutions at the top of the year, right? In January, we're like, you know what? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to kill it. Let's go. Most of us are, right? But then we get into the year and we get really busy and we do not look at our analytics, our actual goals, and how we might need to shift or be consistent with that. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, is how to make more in Q2 by looking at some of the habits that you had in Q1. And I see there's some folks here from the circle. Feel free to also put what location you're at, like what part of the world. I know it's really cool for folks who are streaming here on YouTube. Someone reached out to me last week and they joined the Speaking for Profit Circle. And for folks who don't know, the Speaking for Profit Circle is a free community that I have that you can join. And I have a course there where it teaches you how to create a signature talk and get paid from it, right? So it's a free course, and I'll share the link to that a little bit later. But anyway, someone met me on YouTube through one of these amazing videos that we do. And they were like, I'm from Australia. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. We get an international bag in here. We got some folks here from Australia. So I see someone here from San Francisco. Welcome to the space. So before we get into the training for today, which is all about questions that you should be thinking about in your CEO journal as you move into Q2, I want to talk a little bit about who I am. I am the Speaking for Profit coach. I teach speakers, consultants, diverse leaders like yourself how to build profitable and sustainable speaking businesses, also consulting businesses. So I work with a lot of DEI practitioners. I'm also a practitioner and a speaker myself. And I also believe in monetizing our message through digital assets, because eventually when you start speaking, you will not have time to serve everyone. And you might want to spend time more with your loved ones and other folks. And what happens is if you have a digital asset, it makes it easier for you to be able to do that. So that's some of the things that I've been able to do really well. And I help other people manifest that in their life and in their business and make sure that it's profitable and sustainable. So before we move on to the training, that's a little bit about me. But then I want you also to know a client win, right? I think it's always good to shout out the clients that I work with, that I have the pleasure and the honor of working with. I often tell my clients, like, I don't plan to do this work forever. So I cherish the time that I get to spend with them. And one of my clients in particular has had some amazing wins, y'all, this last year. When I say my clients, my paid clients, the folks who are in Speaking for Profit Academy or the Rich Speaker Mastery, which are our two core programs that we have. So one of my clients got an opportunity to speak for this organization, and they brought it to our coaching calls. We do coaching calls on Monday, and they had a question because they're normally paid anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 to speak. And an organization reached out to them and asked them to speak for $100, right? So we were like, no, you normally speak for $10,000. You are not about to go over here and speak for no $100, right? But I think my client really wanted to support this organization because they really appreciate the audience, but it just didn't fit. So, of course, we suggested not to take the gig because it's way below that person's rate. But what I want you all to know as we're shifting into this conversation about Q2 is that this is the year of an audacity when it comes to asking for what you want. So I want you to think about this as a creator and as someone who's trying to bring more abundance into your life. We need to ask for more. That's one thing. And also, we need to be prepared for some people to have audacities in the things that they ask us to do and set up boundaries when it's not clear. So that came up in that moment with my client where I was like, of course, you want to help people, but this is an audacity ask when this person already knows your current rate, who you are. And it might feel a little disrespectful, but that's what people are doing right now. It's also because it's the time of our economy, right? We're in a recession, quote unquote, that they're not talking about. Things are getting tighter. So people are going to ask for more and want to deliver less. And you have to negotiate that and make sure that you have more aligned yeses and say no to things that don't really serve you. So that same lesson came up today, y'all. I was on a call with someone, and something new that I've been doing this year is I've been hosting VIP days with people. And during those VIP days, we'll work together for anywhere between 4 to 5 hours, and I'll support them with a particular project, right? And that might be creating their digital product, getting their offer together, crafting their signature talk. Some of it's operations, like how do you hire people, all of the stuff that I've had to do in my business and in my journey in corporate America, right? So I've been doing these VIP days and I've been charging. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all because y'all are my fam. I trust y'all and, we got a good community here. I've been charging them about like $997, which is not a lot for a VIP day. And I know that, y'all. I've seen people charging 5, 10, 15,000 for it, right? But because it's something new, I believe in doing like a beta version of it, getting some testimonials, and then taking it to market if it's something that I feel aligned with doing consistently. So I was talking to this person and she was like, I would love to do a VIP day with you. Tell me more about it. I told her about it and I told her the price. And she thought that I said $9,997, right? So she thought that could be the value of it. So for me, it was like, even for yourself, Evolve, like ask for more, right? Because she heard that and she didn't barely blink, y'all, right? So I might be getting my first potentially $10,000 VIP day. We'll see what happens. But it was a moment where I was like, oh, she's mistaken what I said, but maybe I have mistaken what I said. Maybe I need to consistently go up and understand the amount of value that I'm adding to businesses as well. So I say all that and I share that with you because I want you to know that I'm a coach that's being coached, but I'm also a person who's learning as well. And you all are learning with me. So when I say we need to ask for more, it's accountability for myself. I need to ask for more as well. And I might ask you all for more if you want to work with me. And I think that that's a fair exchange. And I do believe in the karma shift in exchange of money, where when you give more, you receive more. So I thought I'd share those couple of client wins with you and send that into your business as you prepare for Q2 and you start to ask for more. So if you understand where I'm coming from and you're putting up what I'm putting down, just put into the chat, I will ask for more. I will ask for more. And then now we're going to get into how I'm looking at Q2 and preparing for it and some suggestions that I have for you. But go on and put that into the comments. I will ask for more because we have to have an audacity of an ask. We have to ask for things that we might not really be comfortable with in order to really grow into ourselves and into our businesses. And it's not just about money. It's about the things that you say yes to, the things that you say no to, the places you show up, the places you decide not to show up, right? The places you don't show up to because you're fearful of it, the work that you don't do because you're fearful of it, all of that. So you got to ask yourself for more, and then you'll be able to ask others for that as well. So let's get into talking about how to prepare for Q2. Now, before we wrap up our time together, what I will do is I will share some like journal prompts that you could use, but I want to take you a little bit back in strategy of how I look at quarter one, how I'm looking at quarter two, and what are some of the key performance indicators that you should be thinking about as a speaker and a consultant. Before we get into that, for folks who are here and might want to join us over at the Speaking for Profit Circle, I want to get that link for you. So here you go. If you would like to join the Speaking for Profit Circle, this is our, as of now, free community. That might change. And I say that because you could be watching this video in the future and it might be a paid community. But as of the recording of this, it is a free community where I have a talk there about how to create your own signature talk and get paid from it by speaking for free and then turning that into a fee. And the goal of this is you create one signature talk and you do it over and over again and get paid for it. And you get better at that instead of creating a whole bunch of different talks and never asking anybody for any money, which is some things that some people are doing. And we don't want to do that, right? So go on and head over and join us in the Speaking for Profit Circle. We'd be honored to welcome you into the community. So the key performance indicators that I look at, the KPIs, and y'all probably have heard that language if you've been in any type of business coaching. For my business is, of course, I'm looking at the money, right? We got to look at the money. The money is important, right? How much we can come in, how much we had leave. I'm also looking at marketing tactics that I've decided to use, whether it's like, hey, I'm going to go live every week here on YouTube and see how that works with building community and being able to empower more speakers and consultants to join the industry. Great. How am I marketing? How's it working? Is engagement up? Do we have people joining our email list? Do we have people joining our community? So I'm looking at the profit, the loss. I'm looking at the marketing. I'm also looking at the energy that I put into different projects, right? Like, where did I focus my habits and then where were my outputs? For instance, beginning of this year for myself, I was really trying to figure out if I wanted to go back to work. I quit my 9-to-5 last year to run my business full time. And I was like, you know what? I know there's going to be some opportunities to invest in some things. I want to make some extra money. Let me see if I can put myself out there. So I spent an amount of time during this quarter applying to jobs. Those jobs didn't work out. They weren't fits for me and I wasn't fit for those companies. I made it to some rounds where I was a finalist. It didn't work out. And I realized, you know what? I don't need to spend time there anymore. I don't want to do that. I tried it. It's not something I'm really interested in. So maybe the time that I was spending looking for a job, I could spend that time doing some investigation around more speaking opportunities, more consulting opportunities. Maybe I want to do some one-on-one coaching with a group of people because there's people who've asked me for that, right? So where can I shift time and where were my habits? And then you want to look at the conversations you've been in. What type of conversations have you been in? What has been on your calendar? What are you doing too much of, but it's not really giving either to you energetically or financially? Attention public speakers, coaches, and consultants. Ever dreamt of booking 5-figure speaking and consulting contracts? In just 5 days, I'm teaching my tried and tested system to elevate your speaking and consulting business. Forget the cold emails, bypass the salesy pitches. This challenge is about building genuine high-value connections. And here's a promise I have for you. With a commitment of just 1 to 2 hours a day for 5 days, you're going to witness transformative results. On day 1, you'll learn how to craft a business strategy without cold emails or paying to speak. Day 2 is all about you redefining your profile to attract decision makers ready to invest in your expertise. By day 3, you'll have your very own 5-figure sales system to turn contacts into clients. By day 4, we will have you automating your funnel with proven templates and scripts. And day 5, I'm going to teach you how to master the art of discovery calls with a step-by-step checklist and exclusive 5-figure sales secrets. Whether you're just stepping onto the speaking scene or you're a seasoned pro, this challenge is tailor-made for you. I'm going to teach you the exact strategies that have helped me help my clients make over $2 million in the last 2 years. The journey to a thriving 5-figure speaking and consulting business begins with this challenge. So are you ready to redefine your limits, accelerate your growth, and bask in the limelight of your success, I want you to join the 5 Days to 5-Figure Speaking Challenge now. Let's rewrite your success story together. Simply head over to speakingforprofit.com. You're going to click that button that says 5 Days to 5-Figure Speaking Gigs so you can get started with the challenge. Can't wait to see you there. All right, now back to the show. I remember, and it wasn't this quarter, but a couple of years ago, I was doing a lot of one-on-one calls, like too many, right? So the pivot that I made was that I started to have my accountability coach do more one-on-one calls. That's in Speaking for Profit. Shouts out to BX. And then we realized, you know what? We don't want to actually do as many one-on-one calls in general. Let's just add on a few more group calls. So you can pivot in different ways to be able to support your business and be able to support your own growth, which is so important. All right, Deborah A. here. Hey, welcome, Deborah. I'm glad you can make it. So you want to think about those things, your profit, your loss, your marketing, your strategies that you've decided to utilize, the conversations that you've been in. Have you been spending a lot of time on free discovery calls that are taking you 45 minutes to an hour, but you're not closing contracts? Are you not on enough calls with decision makers and you need to be on more calls? One of the things that I challenged my clients to do early in the year, and I did as well, was I put out a lot of pitches for conferences, and some of those are starting to come back. So you probably all seen me speaking at Trans Tech recently, right? I spoke at Trans Tech because I had the opportunity to do it, of course, but also because I thought about it earlier in the year. So now that I'm going into the next quarter, I'm like, okay, if I want to speak at some events in the next quarter, this is the time to start thinking about it and applying to some of those events that I might want to speak at. So you've got to think to yourself, how do you do that? How do you operationalize that? And what's important for your business? When we think about being a public speaker and a consultant, monetizing our message, right? Where we're utilizing our words, our IP to be able to support organizations or people, depending on how you're working with folks. I want you to think about it this way. You've got to have marketing, right? You've got to have conversations, and you've got to have contracts that are closed. That's the funnel of your business. So if you look in all of those departments, that will give you enough information to know where you need to go next. So I looked at some of my data and I was like, you know what? I had a lot of phone calls with one-on-one clients. Like, that's amazing. People are in Speaking for Profit. They're enjoying it. We've got a great member base. We've got this free community. But I did not have enough conversations with people who work at businesses, right, in order to get consulting and speaking contracts. So that's something that I'm going to add more habits in and more consistency in for this next quarter. Something else I noticed about my data, I was like, my YouTube is kicking butt. Shouts out to everybody who's watching on YouTube right now who has subscribed. If you have not subscribed already to our YouTube channel, I would suggest that you go on and do it. It's Speaking for Profit University. If you look us up on YouTube, Speaking, the number 4, Profit University. And we have grown a lot. Like last year in itself, just in 2023, we only had probably like 6,000 views. We've already had, I think, if we had 6, then about 11,000 this year, right? We've already doubled the amount of views that we have this year just from being consistent. And last year I wasn't consistent, I have to admit. I mean, I went live probably every other week. Sometimes I would drop my podcast, sometimes I would fumble it. But this year, starting in quarter 1, every week you got a new podcast and every week you had me going live. Unless I was like out on a vacation. I might have missed a couple of lives, but you always had a podcast. So we're doing that. We're also putting out shorts on YouTube every day as well. So our views are up. Now, what I did see was our subscribers could grow a little bit more, but it's still growing more than it did last year. So I'm already thinking about strategies of how we can grow our subscriber base, because what we know is, yes, on YouTube, it's great to have views, but people who subscribe, right, will stick around a little bit longer. So that's something that I looked at. When I think about the money, right, side of my business, I was looking at the affiliate income. That's something that I really wanted us to be able to increase. And we have a great partnership through Kajabi. It's one of my favorite platforms to use to grow your online business. And I'll be doing some more training and development here on YouTube, or if you're watching on LinkedIn for building your own digital products on Kajabi, probably in the month of May. But our affiliate income, it grew, but it didn't grow as much as I thought it would, right? So that tells me that I probably need to do a little bit more evergreen content around it, a little bit more training, build an audience around that so it can grow a little bit more. So all I'm doing, y'all, when I'm looking at how I'm going to plan for Q2 in my business and make more money, is I'm looking at my habits and what I did, and I'm being transparent with myself about my actions. And you have to be willing to do that as well. A lot of us want to look at quarter one and just be like, you know what, it wasn't as good as I wanted to be, and just move into quarter two. But if we're not intentional about like what habits, what strategies do we need to use, then we're going to fumble the bag. Or if we're too glued in to what we're doing is working when it's really not, and not willing to call ourselves out to be a little bit more accountable, we'll fumble the bag too. So it's really a lot of self-reflection that goes into the process of preparing for a new quarter. And believe it or not, y'all, it was Easter's weekend. And I was like, yo, this Easter weekend, I have not even thought about quarter two. So I'm planning quarter two in it. But what I decided for myself was, okay, one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to just ignore quarter one and just keep going. I need to pause. So I'm taking some time this week to pause to figure some of that out. And I suggest that for you as well. Put that on your calendar. Pull out your calendar right now. Go on and add a block there where you can have some CEO time and think about some of these questions. Think about it. So I'm going to give you a few more actual questions to think about and to journal about, but that's how I'm looking at some of my data. Now, I do want to share with you all something that's really cool. So I want to share my screen so I could share with y'all just a little bit on the back end with YouTube, because one of the things that we teach within the Speaking for Profit circle is you creating your own stage. I do believe in the power of speaking from other stages and getting paid like by businesses, but you could be creating your own YouTube, your own live show on LinkedIn, just with the simple click of a button. So let me go into my YouTube analytics. So I just want to show you all this real quick and how I'm looking at it, just to give you more of a visual example, because I know for some of you that will be helpful. If this is helpful for y'all and y'all are picking up what I'm putting down and it's something that you're going to apply to your business, we're going to put the word money in the comments. I just want to make sure that folks are still here, still engaged, and ready to go. Put the word money in the comments if this is helpful for you. So this is my YouTube channel, right? This is the back end. So this is what I mean by I'm reviewing my analytics, right? So if I look on the back end right now, this analytics is only showing me this last month, right? And we've already had 4,000 views, right? But let's look at 2023. Okay, I take that back. I thought we had less views. I always doubt myself. So 2023 in itself, right? We had 9,852 views, right? And then our watch time hour was 975 hours, and we had 316 subscribers. If I look at 2024, look, it's only one quarter in 2024, right? That was a whole year of 2023, what I was showing y'all. We've already had 7,446 views, right? Which is almost as much as what we had last year in one quarter. Our watch time is doing pretty good. It's less than last year though. But I think last year around this time, we might've been doing one of our challenges. So we would have had more watch time, but it's still consistent. And then we've already added 82 subscribers in this one quarter, right? So if we do this consistently, we will definitely have better numbers than next year, right? And you can go into the depths of your analytics and look at more. But what I want you all to know is what I'm doing in my business is I'm moving by data. That's what I'm trying to get more consistent with, instead of just moving by like emotionality, how I feel, because I feel different ways every day. Can I move by the data and allow that to push me into momentum, which could be really, really rewarding for you all if you're willing to do that. But you got to take a deeper dive, right? So that's something that I work with my clients on consistently within Speaking for Profit University, especially my paid clients. Y'all know y'all folks in the circle, y'all can get all the love as well. But when you do decide to work with me as a paid client, we go into the depths of some of that and some of those strategies, because you don't want to just be building the plane while you go. You want to have some type of strong foundation, and this makes it easier. And I'm gonna let y'all know I'm not perfect. Like, I was moving in a different way before, but now I'm definitely trying to be more consistent, more organized. And I wish that for you all and for your business as well. Look at your data. What is your data telling you? And that's when you want to make changes. Sometimes what happens is we make changes too quick, and it's way before the business even has an opportunity to really grow. So you don't want to do that. You make these changes and you don't even get to see the momentum grow for itself. So you got to be intentional. So before we get into the questions that I want you to journal on, I want to share this for folks who are in the Speaking for Profit circle. And if you haven't joined yet, you can join us, right? Let me put the link up for you. This is the link to join the circle. If you're in the circle and you haven't been around a while, because I see Jazz here. I know, Jazz, you've been in school. Go back in the community because we got some really amazing things going on. So this is our calendar within the Speaking for Profit circle and some of the things that we have going on. Right now, you're at How to Earn More in Q2. That's today's training. Next week, which is April 10th, we'll do a live, and I'm going to be doing LinkedIn profile audits for the top 5 people on our leaderboard. We celebrate our leaderboard every month within the circle, right? So I'll be doing some free LinkedIn audits for those folks to give them some feedback. And I would love for y'all to join. When you're able to see someone's audit, you'll be able to learn more about your LinkedIn and how you can amplify it as well. And then the next week, we actually have our 5 days to 5-figure speaking gigs challenge happening. That's going to be a great opportunity to learn how to leverage and secure 5-figure speaking contracts, which is really what you need to be doing if you want to build a 6-figure speaking business and do it sustainably. We're going to talk about all of the strategies that I've been able to utilize and my clients have. And most of these strategies have led to collectively my clients and I making over $3 million the last couple of years. So they're very profitable, but they're also about you doing it in a way that feels like your business has integrity, you doing it so that you don't burn out, and you really being on the path of financial freedom so that ultimately you don't just look successful, but you feel successful and you're able to spend more time with your kids. You're able to buy the house that you want. You're able to go traveling around the world. You're able to just do all the things that you dream of by consistently having paid opportunities to monetize what you already know. So I'm really excited about the challenge. I'm doing the challenge, but this is the last one that I'm going to be doing live. After this, it'll be a pre-recorded workshop that you can purchase on demand, but this will be the last one we're doing it live. So if you want to come through, it says 12 to 1 p.m., but I'm thinking about changing the time to later in the day to make sure that folks from the Speaking for Profit circle can make it. So I will update that and let you all know when we decide on a new time, but go on and get your ticket if you haven't already. And if you need that, just go on and put the word Speaking for Profit into the chat and I can send you a link over to the challenge. So that's what we'll be doing this week is the challenge. And then we're going to have a Ask Me Anything session on that Monday afterwards. And that'll be it for the month of April. I'm actually going to be doing some traveling this month. I'll be traveling to go and build a house for a family in need with one of my amazing coaches, Doug. So I'm actually traveling to San Diego and I'll be there. And then I'll also be doing some traveling to Dallas, Texas, and hosting a workshop at a conference there and spending some time in SoCal with my family. So there's a lot of moving happening this month as well. And I'm really excited about that. But I wanted to break down some of the things that we're going to be teaching this month in the circle for the folks who are already in the circle, but also for folks who haven't joined yet, so you can know exactly what's going on. One more thing, y'all, too. And then I'll give y'all these journal prompts, I promise. When you go into the circle, I know I mentioned the leaderboard. What I mean by that is we have our community space here. And if you look over here to the right-hand side, this is our leaderboard. So the top 5 people on the leaderboard right now, I'm going to do that LinkedIn profile audit for them, right? So that's what I mean by that. But yeah, we have an amazing community, y'all. We have our classroom, which has all the modules in here on crafting your signature talk, how to find opportunities, next steps, creating content with ease. We got a lot of content in here for y'all, and it's all free. So if you haven't joined, I would suggest getting to it. Okay, great. So let's get into the journal prompts that you all can think about in quarter 2. Let me just bring those up. So one of the first questions that I want you to think about when it comes to preparing for quarter 2 is, what were our key achievements and setbacks in the past quarter? What were our key achievements and setbacks in the past quarter? And when we think about this is for our folks who have teams. If you don't have a team, replace that with I. But yeah, what were your key achievements and setbacks in the past quarter? And the reason you want to think about that is you want to celebrate, right, what you won, what you did really well at, but you also want to look at the challenges so that you can prepare for those in the next quarter. So that's the first question that you would want to journal on when you have your CEO day. The next question is to look at your current goals and assess, how did you perform with those current goals? What kind of performance did you have? Did you say you wanted to make 40,000 and you only made 4,000? Right? What are some habits that might need to shift? Or maybe the momentum hasn't came there yet, right? You got to think about, what are some of the things that you said and why weren't you successful, right? So how do we perform against our goals would be one of the things to think about. And then the last question to consider for yourself is, what are my priorities for the next quarter? So these are 3 questions to sit with, right? As we prepare for the next quarter, for quarter 2. 1, what are our key achievements and setbacks in the past quarter? 2, how do we perform against our goals? And 3, what are our priorities for the next coming quarter? If you're in the Speaking for Profit circle, what I would love for you to do is to journal on this and share it with us. And what I'll do is I'll create a post in the group maybe tomorrow and be like, hey, did you get to watch it? Answer these following questions, and maybe we can do some reflection together in the community. And if you're in Speaking for Profit Academy and you're here, I'll do the same thing, because it's important that we have some time to focus on this. Attention public speakers, coaches, and consultants. Ever dreamt of booking 5-figure speaking and consulting contracts? In just 5 days, I'm teaching my tried and tested system to elevate your speaking and consulting business. Forget the cold emails, bypass the salesy pitches. This challenge is about building genuine high-value connections. And here's a promise I have for you. With a commitment of just 1 to 2 hours a day for 5 days, you're going to witness transformative results. On day 1, you'll learn how to craft a business strategy without cold emails or paying to speak. Day 2 is all about you redefining your profile to attract decision makers ready to invest in your expertise. By day 3, you'll have your very own 5-figure sales system to turn contacts into clients. By day 4, we will have you automating your funnel with proven templates and scripts. And day 5, I'm going to teach you how to master the art of discovery calls with a step-by-step checklist and exclusive 5-figure sales secrets. Whether you're just stepping onto the speaking scene or you're a seasoned pro, this challenge is tailor-made for you. I'm going to teach you the exact strategies that have helped me help my clients make over $2 million in the last 2 years. The journey to a thriving 5-figure speaking and consulting business begins with this challenge. So are you ready to redefine your limits, accelerate your growth, and bask in the limelight of your success? I want you to join the 5 Days to 5-Figure Speaking Challenge now. Let's rewrite your success story together. Simply head over to speakingforprofit.com. You're going to click that button that says 5 Days to 5-Figure Speaking Gigs so you can get started with the challenge. Can't wait to see you there. All right, now back to the show. Evolve, have you already chosen the top 5 for this LinkedIn profile audit? Yeah, I have chosen the top 5 for this month. They're all on the leaderboard, but we'll do it again next month as well. So these are just some great questions for y'all to think about, right? It's been a pleasure to be here with y'all today. I do have to run to another meeting, but I want you all to know that we're here to support you, right? Here at Speaking for Profit University, if you're interested in monetizing your message, your expertise, totally here to support with all of that. And I hope that this got you to think a little bit more about asking for more, having more audacity for yourself, the key habits that you need to be looking at, and taking some time to prepare for the next quarter. It's been a pleasure. I will see you all in the Speaking for Profit circle or around in our other communities. And I hope that you have an amazing day. All right. Peace.